I would love if you could explain why the nervous system and nervous system regulation is so key for manifestation.
What a great question. The reason it's key for manifestation is because your nervous system needs to feel safe to receive the manifestation for you to actually receive it. And I can feel there's so many people, but I want it. It's safe. It's safe. Is it? And my favorite statistic is if we think about lottery winners, 86% of lottery winners lose all their money within 3 years. Why? Because their nervous system wasn't actually regulated to receive massive amounts of money. They didn't actually know what to do with it. Their nervous system was like, holy shit, this is new. Oh my God, unsafe. The external didn't actually meet the internal incongruency. So they actually had to get rid of it in order to make your environments match. And the thing is, your internal won't shift to meet the external always shifts to meet the internal. So it starts here. So if your nervous system doesn't actually feel safe, it's going to be very hard to receive that. And so you need to actually make sure your nervous system is regulated to actually receive what you want. And that could be money, that could be love. If you met the love of your life, is your nervous system regulated? Or would you be anxiously attached or avoid it? Would you spiral and be like, oh my God, do they love me? Do they like me? I wonder about this. That doesn't sound very regulated. So when we think about manifesting abundance, I always like to call it grounded gratitude with my clients. You're grateful, but it's very grounding. It's very neutral. It's very normalized in your system. You know, I don't know, if you received $5 tomorrow, probably for all of us watching, that would be pretty grounded for us. $5, okay, cool, like appreciate it, but it's not dysregulating. But if it's like whatever amount, and you're like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. When people say I'm freaking out when they manifest something, I'm just like, no, just don't even say that. Grounded gratitude, because you want your nervous system to be neutral. And so if you know your nervous system isn't neutral with something, and I'm saying it and it's already sparking things in you like, oh yeah, you know, I'd be worried that maybe I'd lose all the money, or I'd be worried that people would expect me to pay for things, or I'd lose my partner, or I'd lose my friends, or people would treat me differently, or they'd say bad things about me, like all these things, right? That shows that whatever that specific thing is, isn't safe for your nervous system. All right, can we make it something smaller? Would a different amount then feel safe? Would a casual relationship feel more safe, or like one that isn't fully intense yet, where there's a bit of safe space, where it's not as much pressure on the relationship to, I don't know, get married or have kids, right? What are like a lower level that would then feel safe to your nervous system?
What are some things we can do to regulate the nervous system?
Like overall?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so massive. I like to think about it as dipping your toe in the pool to kind of like expand your nervous system to experience things that are outside your comfort zone, but don't necessarily make you think you're going to get eaten by a tiger. So if it's like a money example, can you buy the more expensive almond milk? Can you fly premium instead of first class? That expands your system. You're like, oh, this is a little bit scary, but like, all right, it feels okay in my nervous system. And then that way, like you start to regulate to a new level of normal.
Yeah.
Or even with love, can you allow love and can you receive? The more you can receive, the more you're going to regulate your nervous system. And you can receive small things like water, the sunshine, but the more you can actually practice receiving in through your system, the more it will regulate to expand to receive more. But think about it like you go to Starbucks and you order a tall, but what you really want is a venti, and then it overflows. And that's when we get dysregulation. So you need to build a cup that can hold it. So where can you stretch yourself comfort zone wise? Where can you stretch yourself comfort zone wise in relationships? Maybe you can be seen a little bit more. Is that telling your husband or your partner the new sex position you want to do? That's regulating your nervous system, because you're going to be seen, you're putting yourself out there, you're putting a toe out of the line. Ooh, this is kind of like scary, but kind of exciting. Perfect. That regulates your nervous system. You know, when I went skiing, that was regulating my nervous system. I hadn't skied in 10 years, a little scary going down those hills, but that regulated my nervous system because it put me a little bit out of my comfort zone, a little scary, but I knew I wasn't fully going to die. You know, I'm not going down a double black diamond right off the bat. That helped my capacity to hold more. And then also I'm going to say, get rid of the things that you know are dysregulating you in like a toxic way. So other toxic relationships, you know, where do boundaries you need to get set in place? If we think about your nervous system like a bucket of water, boundaries plug the holes that are like draining your nervous system. Do you need more work boundaries? I mean, I guarantee everyone watching can use a refinement in their boundaries. Less phone time, not responding to people right away. This shows you watch, the music you listen to, like there's always little things that you can do to start refining your nervous system and regulating it in a way that doesn't have to dysregulate it so much, and putting those boundaries in place so that there isn't so much that your nervous system has to try to work through and almost like work overtime to try to regulate through. And it's just because we're growing up in a society where we're getting a lot more through our nervous system than we did 100 years ago. And our nervous systems actually aren't built to receive that much stimulation. And so like, I know Christina and I talk about basic things like grounding, getting outside and less stimulation. It's like, I can feel the eye roll of like, well, I just want to manifest more money. Don't tell me to like go stand outside in the grass. And I'm just like, well, if your nervous system is jolted because you spend all day scrolling social media, yeah, that's what you need to do to regulate your nervous system, from the EMFs and all that. Right. So like, they're not basic things once you actually understand the deeper potency behind all of these actions.
I mean, I think, and that's like the place to start is like, when you're talking about like just how our world is set up, it's like, what is your relationship with your phone? It's like, what is your daily schedule like? Are you like, go, 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 high intensity workout, like then partying hard and like not getting enough sleep and then waking up and then it's like all of this overstimulation. I think people are way too connected. I like the way that people interact, like with their friends over text, like how people are, on social media. I think a lot of the high intensity workouts, I think scheduling and like just the way our world is set up. And it's like, boom, 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 boom. People don't have like a morning space. Like all of that stuff is super dysregulating. The music people listen to, right?
And I would also say, you spark something else, is that create actually more space in your day by not jamming it so full. So if it's like, all right, let me get up in the morning, I'll do 5 minutes of meditation, then 10 minutes of journaling, then I'll jump in the shower, then I'll run hills, then I'll run there. That's just jolting your system, even though you're doing the right things. And I know you're trying to do things for, the betterment of you and to develop yourself, but maybe can you actually do less, but do them with more space? If you're going to spend an hour going this, can you actually give yourself 2 hours and more space so you're not jumping between things, and then rushing to get your breakfast down, and then you're bloated after breakfast because you went into it with a dysregulated fight or flight state because you're running around so much. Like actually creating more space in between things versus trying to jam pack it so full is actually going to regulate you more. And you might feel like, well, I'm doing less things, but the things you're doing are actually going to work better.